welcome to the coronavirus research on how coronavirus has an impact on digitalization around the world. Today we have an interesting expert with us. He's a top-notch expert in Ukraine, a Deputy Minister of Digital Transformation within IT development, Aleksandr Bornyakov. Thank you so much for joining us today for this video.
Welcome.
My first question would be, what kind of impact from your personal point of view as a previous businessman and right now a person who is working on a governmental job, what kind of impact coronavirus had on the digital processes within Ukraine, both in the government and within Ukrainian workers and companies in general?
Oh, all right. Apparently, despite of their coronavirus negative impact in general over their people, health, and economy, specifically, it had, and it has a positive impact on the digitalization part. I see how fast start moving processes of digitalization, not just in our ministry and about projects that we do, but also in other areas. Right now I'm talking about just government part, but specifically about court administration. That's the first time I remember that someone of the highest authority of the court, Ukrainian court administration, said that we're never going to perform online hearings, in the court. But maybe you can read in the news that they finally did it the first time, and now they started to pick it up, this initiative, and I hope there's going to be more. So that's one of the examples, but there are many others. And for instance, we have electronic document management system that was not available for us outside government buildings, but now it's finally became available. They made a lot of changes in there, and I have electronic signature on the protected flash drive, so I can work from home. And basically now, from now on, even I believe this coronavirus outbreak going to be over soon, but still, then after that, I'll be able to sign documents and work with them, not just in the building of our government, but also from home or anywhere else, even abroad. So that's another example, and one of the I would say great examples that we have our unemployment agency that deal with the people who lost a job, and so before, applicants had to go and fill out the paper forms, and there was a messy forms, like 10 or 15 of them, a lot of copies, a lot of facts. So they had to do a lot of manual paperwork. And this was for years, and no one actually taking care of this. But recently, they figured out that people actually can go to their center. So they came to us and said, look, help us. Before, they were not so cooperative. And right now, since they asked for help, we feel there's a willingness to finally did this. And we actually did this. So right now in IDEA, that's the major application that in the portal that we work on as a Ministry of Digital Transformation, you can apply online. So if you was laid off from your job, or you want to look for a job and you want to officially register as an unemployment, you don't have to go anywhere else. And it's not just and we made it not just send some copies to email. We created a form with the helpful notes and a master, like a wizard that helps you to guide you through the process. So it's really most advanced that I saw ever saw anywhere in the world. And there are many examples of that. And specifically about business, I know that business also adjusting, but from business perspective, it was not so there was not so huge leap forward because business was using Zoom or Skype or anything else before, and they were not limited to some bureaucratic procedures that we actually had to follow. Not to mention that actually allow us to work from home, we had to change the law in the parliament. So that's insane. But coronavirus helped to do that. So in conclusion, I would say that government procedures was affected really massively, and the business not so well. They adjusted, but they were actually prepared for that.
So, if to sum up, can I just say that coronavirus speeded up the processes
of
digitalization
definitely.
in Ukraine? You just mentioned the project DIA. As far as I understand, and in general, as far as I understand, the Ministry of Digital Transformation is something new to Ukraine, to the Ukrainian government, and it's new concept that Ukraine is going into the digitalization development. What is this project DIA? As I understand, it's something unique and something that can be found only in Ukraine for the moment, and it's different from other countries. Digital document, transferring systems, etc. Can you define a little bit what is this project all about?
Yeah, sure. I can elaborate more. So, first of all, we newborn, we're just 6 months old, and maybe 7 months old, and when the ministry was created. And then Mikhail Fedorov was appointed. So he came with a vision to the president that all the government has to be in smartphone. So the vision sounds like government in smartphone. And what is really differentiate us from the rest of the world is that we put concept smartphone first into all of what we're doing. Look. There are certain researches that shows that Estonia or any other countries that have like high digital index of the government, but their system were building they were building them like 10 years ago, before era of smartphones, and now in order to be compliant with the current user experience. Because now everyone not sitting with a laptop, they watch their smartphones instantly. And do you hear me?
Yes.
Because you're frozen. I mean, your image is frozen. Yeah, no, it's went back. So so their system were created like 5 or 10 years ago, and now it's completely different user experience. And now they have to transform all of this. And but we are, since we're doing this right now, we already compliant with all of this stuff. And if you download DIA, which is completely free, of course, for the citizens of Ukraine, you can actually see how cool it's looking and how convenient to use it, and how this interface is intuitive. But DIA is not just application, because the idea of application was not to give all of the services in specifically in smartphone, because you can actually put like complex procedures. For instance, like we fully automated and moved online process of getting a registered newborn. When the mother delivering a baby, there was a huge mess. You had to visit like 20 different instances and get a lot of paperwork, and now you can do this for 15 minutes. But you can't do this from smartphone, because there are a lot of documents you have to give. So for that reason, we created a portal. It's also called DIA, but it's for laptops and computers. And so we divided the whole set of services into some part that is in application, some part in the portal. But in general, you have a very convenient and easy to use tools to interact with the government. And this changes completely the way you interact with the government, because our goal is make it like completely without involving any human. So this is our like latest long-term goal. But in 3 years, we hope to digitalize 100% of the government services.
Did you receive any feedback on the project? How did it affect the working, habits of Ukrainians, the easiness of doing work or doing business?
Well, yeah, of course, we constantly monitoring media and we have feedback tools in our application, so you don't have to complain on Facebook. You can also suggest improvements inside the application or inside the portal. You can get in touch with our support team. We specifically dedicated support team. And the latest initiative of Mikhail Fedorov, we created implementation department, which actually it's not just response to bugs and errors in the application or the portal, but also to interact with the different institutions in order to make them compliant with our services. For example, I'm sure you're aware, but we have in Ukraine a huge postal service called Nova Poshta.
Nova Poshta, yeah.
Yeah. So, and they didn't. They haven't told their employees that with digital passport you can actually grab your delivery. So this implementation department is created in order to solve such issues. So they will get in touch with the Nova Poshta management. They will explain and then they will negotiate with them in order to make your life easier, even in such cases. And another case could be like airports. So those implementation departments will work with airports in order to explain them and help them deal with the cases when they think that DIA is not actually something that is proving your identity. So far, I know we have like majority of the positive responses, but still, of course, some people complain. There's a huge mess with the registers with your personal information that government possess. So we work with that instantly, and that's a lot of work ahead. But I believe like less than 10% really like complaining and say like why would we need this digital papers or services online. Usually those people are like for some reason they afraid that government will do something to their personal data of their personal reasons. So we're trying to make them reasonable and explain that it's protected. We pay a lot of attention to keep them safe, but that's the time. It's a matter of time, I think, when we convince them that everything is fine.
If to expand on the answer, during this time, did your number of people that downloaded this application or got involved in this digital project, have they increased the number of people during the coronavirus outbreak? Did it speed up the process of implementation of this project in Ukraine? And also, my question is also how open general population towards new digital trends or new digital projects to be launched in Ukraine, because as far as I understand, the digital literacy is not not even. It's different among different age groups, among different regions in Ukraine. How is it? How are you coping with that?
Well, sure. So for the first part of the question, yeah, sure. I know the numbers, and so far 2,300,000+ people download an application. I think around 2 million people have their digital papers and they actively using. That's absolute success, because in the history of Ukraine there was no application that in Ukrainian App Store that was downloaded so many times. So it's the first time in history. So that means something. And from the latest update, already 300,000 people download digital passports. Mm-hmm. It's less than we expected, but I think it's because people not traveling so much, because driver license is it's still needed, but a digital passport is only required when borders are open and there is no quarantine and stuff. I remember that it's more than 100,000 student IDs available, and well, rest I don't quite remember, but I think the numbers are pretty magnificent. I mean, that's the huge success. And in terms of how coronavirus affected it, well, specifically digital. We also care about digital skills. Maybe if you know this is something that my colleague Valeria Ionan, she's doing this a huge project on digital literacy. And when they launched their digital courses and digital education, educating people digital skills, they were expecting, I don't know, like 40,000 people for the first couple months. And now she told us that yesterday she breached 200,000 people. So wow. Yeah, so this is tremendous success also, because this over exceed expectations, and a couple times. So like almost 3 times. So that's.
Why do you think so? Why is it happening? Because people
yeah, they at home. Okay. They had time to watch this, and still, like, if you before they had to go to work, and well, for instance, we launched a course for digital literacy in learning teachers how to manage lessons online. Mm-hmm. And of course, like all the teachers, almost all the teachers in Ukraine got interested, because that's something that they have to do. So we're just in time with that.
And as far as I know, there's also online school that has been launched during the coronavirus. That is also kind of one of the examples of a digital projects during this virus outbreak.
By the way.
How do you evaluate this? How do you evaluate people got off jobs at the moment? You know, they maybe some of them are unemployed. Someone couldn't go into distant working through their businesses, and they got off. But right now they are getting into all these digital projects. How can you evaluate those that are still present?
Well, I'm not sure if I follow the question. You're asking about
online school. Okay. Well, how can you evaluate the online school? Yes. How can you evaluate the online school?
Well, as a father of the first grade, I would say that, well, they're just pretty good, and they have, well, I saw they have moved to learning management system, which is kind of a software that allows you to see all this, all his homework and his assignments online. So this was before coronavirus. So I haven't seen big difference between like it was before, except of course they do this Zoom meetings, Zoom calls, and they like 10 or children and the teacher, and you have to, and she communicates with them one by one or engaging in some different way. But I also encourage this initiative, and I'm pretty much impressed how some of our parliaments and Ministry of Education reacted to this coronavirus situation, and they created these lessons that they run through major television channels. So this was pretty good. I mean, they made it in time, and in fact, and what this word I'm looking for, they reacted pretty fast. So I totally support it.
Thank you so much for your answers. Thank you. They were very profound and very interesting. Thank you so much. And good luck with all of the digital projects that you're launching in Ukraine. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Bye.